Moments ago, breaking news lit up screens and social media. Mike Rowe, the man who made America respect grit and hard work, shared an announcement few expected. For over 2 decades, he's been the voice of honesty, humility, and everyday courage, guiding audiences through work most would never attempt. Today, however, the focus isn't on miners, garbage collectors, or crab fishermen. It's on Mike himself. At 62, the man who spent his life celebrating others now steps into a deeply personal spotlight, revealing decisions and truths that could reshape how we view his legacy. Roots in Baltimore. To understand Mike's journey, you have to go back to Baltimore, Maryland, where he grew up with a love of performance, music, and storytelling. His powerful baritone voice, so familiar now, was first honed in school plays and choir rehearsals. Influenced deeply by his grandfather, a skilled tradesman, Mike learned to admire hard work, quiet dignity, and craft. While other kids idolized superheroes, he looked up to hands that bore the marks of labor. These early experiences planted the seeds for a lifetime spent honoring those who keep society moving through their sweat, determination, and skill. Early career paths. After earning a communications degree from Towson University, Mike pursued voice work and opera, even training with the Baltimore Opera Company. His voice was built for concert halls, but his heart longed for connection with real people. Television offered a bridge. He began with narrations and commercials, eventually taking an unlikely gig selling live products on QVC. Night after night, unscripted and on the spot, he honed timing, humor, and the ability to engage audiences. These early experiences would shape his signature style, a mix of respect, curiosity, and warmth that would later define a generation of storytelling. Discovering a bigger mission. Everything changed when Mike was offered a chance to host a series exploring America's toughest and dirtiest jobs. On the surface, the show sounded simple. Try the hardest work and survive. But what emerged was something much bigger. Mike didn't approach these roles as spectacle or comedy. He honored the workers, immersing himself in the grime while listening, learning, and giving them a voice. From sewage pits to industrial chaos, his humility and curiosity became central. Audiences weren't just watching unusual jobs. They were meeting real people with stories worth telling. Mike's voice made their labor meaningful and memorable, elevating everyday heroes. Through years of grueling work, Mike became a bridge between ordinary Americans and the world they rarely saw. Pig farmers, miners, and trash collectors weren't caricatures. They were heroes. His narration turned difficult, dirty work into stories of dignity, patience, and perseverance. This approach resonated nationwide. People didn't just admire the work, they felt it. Over time, Mike became more than a host. He was a storyteller and an advocate. The series' success proved audiences craved authenticity, respect, and insight into the backbone of the country. His career became a lesson in empathy, showing that admiration for labor could be as inspiring as celebrity. Beyond the screen, when the show ended, many assumed Mike would fade into memory. Instead, he leaned further into advocacy. Traveling across the country, he saw a growing shortage of skilled labor and a stigma around trades. Inspired, he launched the Mike Rowe Works Foundation in 2008, providing millions in scholarships to welders, plumbers, electricians, and mechanics. Mike challenged society's college or bust mentality, reminding people that dignity lies in effort and expertise, not degrees. He carried this message to schools, Congress, and online audiences, championing laborers while also giving ordinary Americans hope that their work mattered and could make a difference. Returning the Favor Mike's mission expanded further through initiatives celebrating unsung heroes. Returning the Favor highlighted everyday people making extraordinary impacts, while his podcast, The Way I Heard It, shared short, sharp stories full of surprise and insight. Both ventures cemented him as a modern moral guide, blending humor, history, and humanity. Over time, Mike's presence evolved beyond television into a philosophy. He became America's blue-collar philosopher, using his platform to honor effort, celebrate curiosity, and inspire compassion. His work reminded the public that the unsung heroes of society deserve attention, respect, and storytelling as compelling as any blockbuster production. The toll of a life in labor. Behind his calm demeanor, the work took its toll. Years of crawling, lifting, and breathing dust, combined with relentless travel, left physical and emotional strain. Mike often joked about the aches, but the reality was serious. Carrying a mission that weighed heavily on his shoulders, he faced burnout like many do when passion and responsibility collide. His health became a concern, and the demands of public life, constant appearances, speaking engagements, and projects, added pressure. The announcement he made today reflects not weakness but wisdom. Even the strongest must acknowledge limits and make choices to preserve longevity, well-being, and sanity. Stepping back, in a heartfelt statement, Mike shared he would step back from much of his public work, prioritizing health and personal balance. Leadership of his foundation will transition to others, ensuring his vision continues without the strain falling on one person. His podcast will remain, and he will continue speaking, but more selectively, in personal and intimate ways. This is not an ending but a handoff. For someone who spent decades spotlighting others, the move reinforces his values. Leadership is about enabling people to carry the mission forward while accepting that rest is not a failure, but a crucial step in sustainability. A lasting legacy. Mike's legacy isn't just television or philanthropy, it's cultural. A generation now sees value in work often overlooked. Classrooms use clips of his adventures to teach resilience and respect. Apprenticeships thrive thanks to scholarships he funded, and families reflect on his example of humility and courage. His storytelling transformed ordinary labor into extraordinary lessons about perseverance, character, and human dignity. Even as he slows down, the principles he championed continue to resonate. Mike's work has reminded America that every hand contributing to society deserves recognition, and every story, no matter how dirty or small, deserves to be told. The final lesson. As Mike enters a slower chapter of life, the lesson extends beyond work. Even heroes need time to pause, reflect, and care for themselves. His choice models balance, illustrating that advocating for others doesn't require neglecting oneself. The light Mike shone on America's hidden workforce will continue, now shared among many inspired by his example. Though his pace slows, the impact remains. In honoring the laborers and everyday heroes, he taught something universal. Dignity resides in effort, courage is in persistence, and inspiration can come from the most unexpected places, even the grimiest corners of the world.